evacuating those summer camps. And they were by themselves on that island that was Hunt, Texas, doing what they do, serving, protecting, and helping, until about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, when other emergency workers in high-profile vehicles were able to get out there. And here in town, in the early morning hours, it's still dark. Our officers realized that areas of town that traditionally don't flood were going to flood, and that low-lying areas close to the river were in danger. Our officers spent hours going back and forth. In that first hour, they evacuated over 100 homes and evacuated and rescued over 200 people. And to say that doesn't even come close to explaining the actions that took place. Door to door, waking people up, convincing them that yes, the floodwaters are coming and you need to leave now. They rescued people out of vehicles. They rescued people out of homes that were already flooding, pulling them out of windows. They entered water. There's a trailer park that flooded in minutes. One officer was there by himself, and he realized, I need help. He sounded his siren, driving up and down those streets that were beginning to flood, calling on his PA system for folks to wake up and evacuate. And then 2 other officers joined him through first thigh deep, then waist deep, then chest deep water, as they went from RVs and trailers and rescued people, carrying them to safety through the water. Out on old FM 689, there were 2 people trapped in the water, clinging to a tree. 2 officers were there when a third one drove up. And one of them was wrapping a 100-foot flex line garden hose around his waist to go into the water and rescue those people. And those 3 officers went into the water, and one of them held that hose and acted as an anchor, while those other 2 made their way to those 2 victims, and they were able to evacuate them safely. Folks, I don't know how many lives our KPD team saved in an hour in Kurville, but I know that this tragedy, as horrific as it is, could have been so much worse. And finally, I want to tell you about a member of our KPD team. These guys have been working around the clock. 4th of July traditionally is a all hands on deck event for us, because we hold an amazing concert on the river. On July 4th, it was an all hands on deck event for a very different reason. But our officers had been working without time off, without any downtime, 16, 18, 20-hour shifts, without complaint. Yesterday was the first day we were able to give a couple of them some downtime. So we sent an officer home to rest. But rather than taking a day off, a much well-deserved day off, he got up and he put on his gear and he volunteered to go out on foot with a ground search party. And he spent his day up and down the Guadalupe River, going over, under, around trees, searching for victims to try and reunite the missing with their families. I think that is Texans helping Texans in the greatest sense of the word. That's what community is. And that's what's important right now. I want to continue to thank y'all for helping us spread the messages that need to be spread. Before I open this up for a very few questions, just ask you to please, just ask you to please say your name and who you're with before we do that. Yes, sir, right here. Oh, I'm sorry. The mayor is supposed to speak now. I apologize. Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry.
Good morning, everyone. As Jonathan Lamb has said, this is a story of tragedy, but it's also a story of heroes. Captain Walter, thank you for all you've done. Every first responder, thank you for all you have done. The recent numbers reported break my heart. And they break the heart of everyone up here, everyone who's been working since July the 4th. I want you to know, I think it's important for the public to know, I think it's important for the families to know. In that emergency operations center, there's not little silos of departments and agencies. They're working as one team with one goal: to find the missing and bring them home. I'm grateful for every first responder, every helper in every field. Those who are feeding the hungry, those who are providing shelter to people who have no home, those who are providing clothing, who no longer have a wardrobe. I'm also grateful for the generosity of the world. Two companies that are hometown companies that started in Kerrville, Texas, announced today and yesterday that they will be donating to the relief effort. Everyone in Kurville is proud of HEB and James Avery Artisan Jewelry. Had a different name for so long, I'm sorry. Those two companies started here. Their heart is here. We are committed to helping others. After you all go home or go to the next story, we will still be here. We live here. We've lost friends here. If you feel able to donate to the relief fund, the best source we are recommending is the Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country. That's the community. Their website is communityfoundation.net. There's a link at the top of that page to help you donate. Now listen, I'm married to a retired first grade teacher. And I learned a little bit about classroom management from her. If you yell questions at us, we're probably going to pick someone else to answer, okay? So if you feel the need to yell your questions, I will feel the need to not answer your question. In first grade, they raised their hands. That might be a good start. Yesterday was a disaster, and I was embarrassed. Our town was embarrassed. Your viewers were embarrassed. And I don't want that to happen again. Now, I'm going to do something I've been told to do. I'm going to turn it back to Jonathan Lamb to start the question and answer period. However, please make my retired first grade teacher wife proud and raise your hands. Thank you.
Okay, once again, just say your name, please, and who you're with. And I had already called on you, so yes, sir.
I'm Ernie Zuniga with KSAT 12 in San Antonio. Question for the sheriff. The code red alert system has come under a lot of scrutiny in recent days, and now there's reports of a timeline on Friday morning where an Ingram Volunteer Fire Department commander asked the Kirk County Sheriff dispatcher for the code red to be issued. The dispatcher says, I can't, I have to get a supervisor's approval for that. Almost 6 hours passes until 10 o'clock, when 10:04, when the code red is issued. How do you account for that lapse of time? What happened and what could have happened in that time?
Okay. As I've said earlier, with every significant event, you know, we're going, with every emergency, you know what, we're going to have to, there's going to be an after action. Please, y'all, listen to those words, after action, okay? Those questions are going to be answered. I believe those questions need to be answered to the family of the missed loved ones, to the public, you know, to the people that put me in this office. Those need to be, and I want that answer, and we're going to get that answer. And I know that's going to be asked over and over. Please understand that. You know, we're not running. We're not going to hide from everything. That's going to be checked into at a later time. I wish I could tell you that time. I don't know that time. Let me share something with y'all. One of the main things I've been doing is going and visiting the family. We still have some of those missed loved ones here. I go visit them twice a day. You know, as a sheriff, you know what I want is I want closure for those people. Okay, and those are important questions. Those are we will answer those questions. I wish y'all would bear with me in that. Okay, bear with me. We'll get them. I can't tell you in a week or two. Okay, we're going to get them. I'm not trying to deflect them. Okay, my primary. I mean, I asked you. I've been in this business 36 years. I don't know if any of y'all, how many of y'all have gave notifications, death notifications. I've done them. What is worse, a death notification or telling somebody I don't know where your loved one was? That's my priority. Okay, now please understand that.
Sir, since you're up, Sergeant Lamb. Sergeant Lamb.
Tammy from the Hill Country Community Journal.
Yes, we talked a lot about the recovery effort, and it's amazing, but I wonder what we can tell the displaced families. Where do they go? How do they get in touch with FEMA? I think there's a lot of that, and we haven't had a chance to discuss it.
Right, so unfortunately I don't have the FEMA number. I know there is a FEMA hotline specifically for this, and I don't have it at my fingertips, and I apologize for that. We are pushing out the recovery information through our social media post. The First United Methodist Church, 321 Thompson Drive, is still the shelter operation for displaced persons through this disaster. They are fully equipped and still accepting folks.
Sergeant Lamb.
Yes, sir. Louis Amastor from the Kirk County Lead.
Yeah. Sergeant Lamb, yesterday the governor's office said there was 161 missing. Is that a Kirk County number, or is that a roll-up number? Where are we at with the number of missing?
It's my understanding that the number that the governor referred to was a Kerr County number, and again, I have no reason to doubt that number, and it was compiled from the best available information. But we are asking folks to make sure that the numbers that we have are accurate. So if somebody has been reported missing and they have now been accounted for, please let us know that so we can revise those numbers and make sure that they continue to be accurate. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Juanita with Telemundo NBC. Yesterday, Governor Abbott said that 2 days prior to the disaster, he had provided resources, and they were here on ground. I know this is a question for you or for the mayor, but he said you guys were prepared, that you had those essentials. What happened? Did you guys have those resources?
Yeah, listen, I'm going to just say what has already been said. At the appropriate time, all of that is going to be reviewed and checked into. I don't have the answer to that question right now. I don't have that information. And rather than speculate, it would be irresponsible for me to do that.
Mayor,
So,
could you speak on that?
Repeat the question, please.
Yesterday, Governor Greg Abbott said 2 days prior to the disaster, he had provided the town with more than enough resources to respond to the disaster. Were those resources here? Locals tell us they didn't see any resources. They didn't see anyone until hours after the disaster.
Thank you.
What resources did you guys have, and why wasn't there any response?
Okay. I didn't see the governor's remarks. I haven't seen the governor's remarks. Last night we had a city council meeting, and I was required to be there. And so I can't, I'm sorry, I don't know what resources TDM had in place at that time. I know when I arrived at the Emergency Operations Center on the morning of July 4th, there were TDM personnel there. But what assets they were able to use that morning, I'm sorry, I do not know.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor.
Listen, people are yelling, and I didn't really want y'all to.
If you offer only 3 questions, then you're going to have people
Guess
yelling.
what? You're in Kurville, and we're going to do it my way.
I understand that. but-
Morgan Chesky, please.
Mr. Mayor, records show that the concept of flood warnings have been discussed at least 24 times by the county. What's the biggest reason that these systems have not gone into place at this point?
You know, Morgan, you and I grew up here. And I wasn't in office during those discussions, and frankly, I'm more focused on the future than the past, as you know. What I can say is the governor, the lieutenant governor, the Speaker of the Texas House have all provided us support, and they have all said this is a priority for the upcoming special legislative session. As mayor of Kurville, as someone who grew up here, I am grateful for their support, and I look forward to what they proposed in the special session. My last question will be you.
Thank you, sir. Shimon Kurville from CNN. The lieutenant governor said that on July 3rd that the county judges and city mayors were invited on a daily call Thursday to discuss weather forecasts. Were you on that call? Were you invited to that call? And do you know if the county judge was also on that call?
I can't speak for the county judge. That would be hearsay. And I'm not going to contradict the information you have. But I will tell you, personally, I did not receive a telephone call.
You weren't invited to the call?
I did not receive a telephone call.
And you were never given any information about what assets were brought into the area?
So I wasn't invited to the call. I'm not trying to deflect,
No,
but
I understand.
I
But
don't.
do you know why that would happen? Or?
Maybe I'm not a local mayor. I can't tell. All right. Thank you, guys.
All right, folks, I appreciate that, and I appreciate the decorum that was shown this morning. So, as y'all are aware, gentlemen, just do me a favor. I'm not quite finished yet. All right. So, as y'all are aware, there's not going to be a 1500 presser. What we are going to do is send out an update, any updates through the email list. And once again, if you haven't gotten on our email list, that's going to be JIC, J-I-C, at KerrvilleTX.gov. I'll give it to you again, JIC at KerrvilleTX.gov. Thank y'all.
Sergeant, what time did your fellow officer come up with that?